Hey, welcome to Vehicles for Change in our second annual Custom Cars, Cocktails, and Change. You know, tonight we have 4 goals that we're going to try to achieve over the next 90 minutes. One is we want to provide some light on Vehicles for Change and what we do here. Number 2 is we're going to recognize one of our many superstar graduates. Number 3, of course, we want to try to raise a little money so we can continue doing this important work that we do here at Vehicles for Change. And number 4 is we want to make you smile. That's right, something simple as making you a smile. In this environment that we have today and things getting even a little bit more hairy, a smile can go a long way. And you know, I think we're going to do that because as you go through our program tonight and you get to see more than 50 absolutely amazing custom cars ranging from one of Ford's original Model Ts, thanks to our friends at Apple Ford, through a Ferrari, a beautiful collection of Shelbys, and even some new cars that have been presented by our major partner Heritage that you can actually buy sometime next week. So before we get into the show, I want to take you on a little tour because this is a virtual event and we get to actually see what's going on here at Vehicles for Change. So come along with me. Hey, so this is where all the excitement happens. This is actually our shop. So in this area we have cars that are getting ready to go to families. If you want to take a look, we get a lot of different things in here. So we thank all of our car donors that really make this possible, because without them we obviously wouldn't have cars for our families. So we're going to walk over here and take a look at where we're doing some training while these guys are getting the cars ready for our families. So over here we've got our training program going on. These young men are learning how to work on a vehicle while getting a vehicle ready that will go eventually to one of our families here in Maryland or Virginia. As you can see, they're concentrating. Fellas, what are we working on?
Valve cover gasket. Valve cover gasket.
Valve cover gasket. Okay. So they are working together to figure out how to get this valve cover gasket on. I'm not a mechanic, so I'm not going to try to help them. But as they graduate from our program, these guys will find great jobs with some of our partners like Heritage, who hires a tremendous number of our interns, and you'll hear more about that a little bit later today. So this is our classroom where our interns, all of whom for the most part are just returning from incarceration, spend 90 minutes every morning getting prepared to take the ASE certification exams. Our instructor does a great job and 100% of our guys pass at least 4 of the 10 ASE certifications. Very tough exam, super proud of these guys when they pass that, and it makes a big difference when they go to get employed. So this side of our facility is actually our retail garage. So for those of you who live in the neighborhood and need a car repair, you can actually bring your car here and get it repaired, and 100% of the proceeds of that job will go back to support our training program. So we would greatly appreciate that, and another way that you can help support Vehicles for Change. So I hope you enjoyed the tour of our facility. Now what I'd like to do is thank our VIP customers and hope you're going to enjoy your crab cake platter and your wine this evening. I want to thank everyone who joined us tonight for the show. Hope you enjoy it. I know I will. And particularly I want to thank our sponsors, our major sponsor, Heritage, MileOne, Autogroup, and PNC Bank. And in the next slide, you'll be able to see all the sponsors that were part of our event. We couldn't do this without them, and we certainly couldn't continue this wonderful work without all of you and without our sponsors. So please enjoy the show, and I'll see you back at the end. Hey, by the way, don't forget, we want to make sure that you post your photos of you enjoying the evening tonight at #C4VFC. Thank you.
Block A is sponsored by PNC Bank.
These are the first generation of Corvette produced from 1953 to 1962 and established a reputation as a leader in technology, design, and performance. The 1954 models came in pennant blue and sportsman red, with 80% ordered in the signature polo white. The 1954 Corvette had upgraded to a single hood latch and relocated choke. With a removable side, curtains were also matched to the interior color. Under the hood, a 2-speed power glide transmission. Upgraded cam gave the Blue Flame inline 6 an extra 5 horsepower, up to 155 horsepower. The transmission clutch is a torque converter and has a worm and sector steering operation. Furthermore, a new rocker arm cover was fitted, which on later cars was chromed. The body is made from fiberglass with a 13-foot wheeled box section frame. Compared to the 353 models, the 1954 Corvette were produced for just $2,774. The international racing debut of the Corvette came in 1954 when Bill von Esser and Ernest Pultz ran that year's running of the Carrera Panamericana in the 1954 model. 1957 Chevrolet Corvette. This model is 3 years older than the previous car, and boy does it pack a punch. In 1957, Chevrolet introduced the ramjet fuel injection. This was the most advanced performance feature in an American-produced vehicle. This Corvette has a valve-in head V8 engine which produces 220 horsepower at 4,600 RPM and a 4-barrel carburetor with cast aluminum rocker covers. The transmission is a 3-speed closed-ratio synchro mesh with a high-capacity 10-inch semi-centrifuge coil spring clutch and a floor-mounted gear. The maximum horsepower is 283, and thanks to the ramjet fuel injection, 10.5 to 1 compression ratio. Next up is a 1930 Studebaker Commander 8. This was considered a premium vehicle with nearly double the cost of the Ford Model A, having luxury features of a rear footrest and handrail, manual and power windshield wipers, flower vase interior lighting, and dual side mount spare tires. The inline 8-cylinder engine produces 80 horsepower to drive the car to a top speed of just over 60 miles per hour. With a 3-speed manual transmission, no power steering, and mechanical brakes, this car was designed for passenger comfort, not driver pleasure. The car was purchased by Richard Dawson in 1973 and has remained in the family with only 3 drivers since its restoration in 1976. In its many years of car shows, it has won countless local and national awards. And this is the first car show that it has been in over 30 years. It has had the opportunity to transport nearly a dozen brides and grooms, countless prom guests, and enthusiasts over its many years. The car was caught in a barn fire in Massachusetts in the 60s, having much of the passenger side heavily damaged. However, its original mohair interior panels survived and are still in place today.
Block B is brought to you by Heritage MileOne Autogroup.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that beautiful group of vehicles. I know my favorite was the 1931 Cadillac. We have come to my favorite part of the evening, and that is the introduction of our Intern of the Year Award, sponsored by Heritage MileOne Autogroup. In 2015, Vehicles for Change created a reentry auto mechanic training program. This is a 4-month employer-driven paid internship that has grown to one of, if not the most successful reentry training program in the country, boasting a 100% placement rate and a 90% retention rate, with an average starting salary of $35,000 a year. But most impressive is a recidivism rate of less than 2%. That's 68% less than the national recidivism rate. What we're doing at Vehicles for Change is not rocket science. Most men and women returning from prison don't really want to return. Living in an 8x8 cell is not exactly a desirable existence. By providing a marketable skill and employers like Heritage willing to give these individuals an opportunity to prove themselves, we know that most, if not all, will be successful. What that means to you is decreased crime, more individuals in the workforce, and fewer taxes. Fewer taxes because it costs you as taxpayers $42,000 a year to incarcerate one individual. Your support of Vehicles for Change will assure we can continue this incredible work and keep changing lives. The amazing success of our interns makes the selection of one each year incredibly difficult. Our Intern of the Year, again, is sponsored by Heritage MileOne Autogroup. Heritage has been a major partner of Vehicles for Change for the past 5 years. During that time, Vehicles for Change has awarded more than 1,200 cars to worthy families, and in our reentry training program, trained and placed 170 individuals. I can honestly say that we would not have come close to those numbers without this amazing partnership. In that short period of time, Heritage has donated more than 150 cars, hired 20% of our graduates, donated over $100,000 and several pieces of equipment for our training center. To introduce our 2020 Intern of the Year is a gentleman who is the driving force behind our amazing partnership, and we are incredibly grateful for not only his support, but more so for his friendship. I introduce Heritage MileOne Auto Group Vice President, Mr. Scott Fader.
Thank you, Marty. MileOne really could not be happier than our partnership over the last 5 years with Vehicles for Change. It really revolves around two areas. One, the donation of vehicles for needy families. As Marty mentioned, we've donated over 150 cars in the past 5 years, all of which have gone to needy families. And the way we look at it, cars are transformative to people's lives. Without a car, you never break the cycle of poverty. Think of what it does for someone to be able to get a better job, to be able to do things with their children, to do after-school activities. It's been a wonderful partnership for us. We couldn't feel really better about the opportunity to donate these vehicles to such a great organization. Secondly, as Marty referred to, is the Full Circle Training Program. We have hired, I've lost count, but as Marty said, over 20% of the graduates that have come out of this program have come to work for one of the Heritage locations in the Baltimore metro area. Today's graduate is particularly exciting. We'll talk about it in a moment. It's been a wonderful program for us, and it was a big change for us to, honestly, we felt a risk to take a chance to hire some of these, high risk, previously incarcerated individuals, people that had made some bad choices in their life. These weren't people typically that we hired in our organization, but after meeting Marty and after learning more about the program, we decided to give it a chance. And I have to tell you, there's never been a moment that we've regretted that in the last 5 years. And Travis today, I think, is a perfect example. Travis does happen to work for Heritage Chrysler Dodge Jeep in Parkville. Travis, I'll tell you a little bit about him. Travis was born and raised in Baltimore. He came from a family of car enthusiasts. Basically anything with a motor they were interested in, and they eventually got Travis hooked. In his youth, Travis was an excellent boxer and also the valedictorian of Poly High School. When Travis came to Vehicles for Change, he was met with a few difficulties, but determined to be successful. He started the Full Circle Training Program and excelled at everything he did. Travis received 8 ASEs at one time. He's a motivator to his fellow interns and even created a challenge to others about receiving their ASEs. After graduating the program, Travis was hired at Heritage and continues to represent the Full Circle program with excellence and honor. I have to say, I took a few minutes last week to call Travis's supervisor to get some personal, information about Travis. I thought he was talking about his own son. The glowing recommendation about Travis and his attitude every day at work, how positive he was and what a great influence he was, and how he was really become a leader in our express department and is very close to moving into our main shop to take over as a full-fledged technician. So with that said, Travis, I'd like to present you with your Graduate of the Year. Great job.
As they said, my name is Travis Walton. I'm a recent graduate of Vehicles for Change, and I'm a current employee of MileOne Heritage, Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Parkville. It's just an honor today to receive this award because of all the hard work that I've put in, and also all the hard work that Vehicles for Change and also MileOne has put in alongside with me to put me in a position to be here today. A year ago, I would never imagine being in this position. I would never imagine having the opportunities that I have from both VFC and MileOne. I'm in a great place in my life right now because they gave me an opportunity. We're high-risk employees, so they don't really look forward to hiring us. But once we come in and show what we're capable of, show what VFC taught us, we're always above and beyond. Like I said, I just appreciate Marty. I appreciate Heritage just for allowing me to receive this award and having a recommendation of being the Graduate of the Year. Just want to say thank you.
It's a lovingly restored 1930 Model A pickup that Ford developed to do the heavy lifting. With an L-head 4-cylinder engine with a displacement of 201 cubic inches, 40 horsepower, 20 to 30 miles per gallon, with a Zenith one-barrel updraft carburetor providing a top speed of 65 miles per hour. It had a 103.5 wheelbase with a gear ratio of 3.77 to 1. The transmission was a 3-speed sliding gear unit with a 1-speed reverse. The Model A had 4-wheel mechanical drum brakes, came with stainless steel radiator cowling and headlamp housings. It's the first car with safety glass in the windshield and also uses a standard set of driver controls with conventional clutch and brake pedals, throttle, and gear shift. We'll bring this section home with a 1953 Jeep. Initially, Jeeps were made for military purposes, so it's only fitting that we get the name from America's Best. The military designated this vehicle GP, standing for Government Purposes, which was thrown together as Jeep. This is a 1953 two-door open off-road military Jeep, which was acquired in 1967 and used by the Covington Fire Department. The fire pump is functional and has seen active duty putting out brush fires, trash fires, and several automobile fires. It was retired from service and purchased by a private collector. After being featured in the Covington Fire Department's 100th anniversary in 2002, it was repurchased by the fire department for parades and community events. It was purchased by the current owner in 2011 and is one of the most unique vehicles in his collection.
Hello, I'm State Senator Clarence Lamb, representing Baltimore and Howard counties in the Maryland General Assembly. As the Vice Chair of the Baltimore County Senate delegation, I am proud to have Vehicles for Change located in my legislative district here in Southwest Baltimore County. I've had the opportunity to tour the Vehicles for Change facility in Halethorpe multiple times, and I am always impressed by Marty Schwartz's team and the men and women who participate in their auto repair training program. He's not only giving these trainees a real chance at a solid job, but he's also helping people who need cars with affordable vehicle ownership. So I want to thank all of you for participating in the second annual Custom Cars, Cocktails, and Change virtual car show this year. Although the format is different with it being online, the mission and the need are the same. Thank you for supporting a good cause, and I look forward to joining all of you next year in person to support Vehicles for Change.
Block C is brought to you by Kaiser Permanente.
You're back. So a lot of beautiful cars in that block, huh? Listen, I believe that the net result of systemic racism is generational poverty. And one of the factors that locks minority families in poverty is a lack of transportation. In 1999, when we started Vehicles for Change, transportation was identified as the main barrier to employment for low-income families. And unfortunately, 21 years later, that's still the case. In our society, a car is not a luxury, it's a necessity. And thousands of impoverished families attempt to exist on a daily basis without one. According to the Brookings Institute, more than 60,000 low-income households in the Baltimore region are without a car, and without access to public transportation, to get to a job. That's 60,000 households that will never escape poverty without access to transportation. Vehicles for Change is one of the very first organizations to address this barrier by providing cars to worthy families. Since then, we have grown to be the largest low-income car ownership program in the country, awarding almost 7,000 cars to families in Maryland, Virginia, and Michigan. And tonight, we're going to increase that number by 2 more. Most of our car recipients are single moms with 2 to 3 children. I can tell you from personal experience that being a single parent is an extremely difficult job with a car. I cannot imagine how difficult it is to get up at 4 a.m., get small children ready for school or daycare, then get on the bus for 45 minutes, drop your child off at daycare, get back on the bus, ride the bus for 90 minutes to get to an $11 an hour job, and 8 hours later, do the whole thing in reverse. I couldn't do that for a week, let alone do that for years, and most of our recipients have to spend their entire life doing that. But today we're going to change that for 2 of them. Our 2 car awards this evening are sponsored by yet another one of Vehicles for Change's long-standing partners, Kaiser Permanente. Kaiser has been donating cars from their fleet for the past 12 years and have donated over 50 cars during that period of time. Introducing our 2 recipients and not doing the key handoff because of COVID, the keys are already in the cars, is our Kaiser Permanente representative, Mr. Calvin Holmes. Calvin?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Calvin Holmes with Kaiser Permanente, and we are proud to be a partner of Vehicles for Change. So this evening, while you've had the opportunity to look at many of the custom cars that you'll be able to see, we also welcome you as you consider purchasing an auction item to please do so. Now, as we prepare for this evening, I'd like to introduce the 2 recipients, Miss Tillery and also Miss Harvey. Now I'd like to share with you their background story. Miss Harvey is a 30-year-old mother who lives in Middle River with her only child, Mackay, age 10. Miss Harvey works for Johns Hopkins as a community health worker, and she loves advocating for health services on behalf of those who would not have a voice otherwise. With public transportation, they are waking up at 4:30 a.m. in the morning to travel an hour and a half, hopefully to be on time, and also paying over $200 a month on Uber. When Sade is awarded her vehicle, her travel time will drop to 15 minutes. And she talks about the car giving her stability, career longevity, and all year round better financial situation. The first place Sade and Mackay are going to travel is to Nana's house. It took them 3 buses to get to Dundalk from Middle River. Now she can have reliable transportation to get to work on time and also enroll in school next February. Next, I'd like to share a background for Miss Tillery. Miss Tillery is a 44-year-old mother who lives in Temple Hill with her 5 kids. In her spare time, she likes sightseeing, going to movies, and just exploring. Most recently, she got a position in July at Healthcare Dynamics in Atlanta, Maryland, as a data liaison where she does her various contact tracing for COVID. Miss Tillery loves that career and also loves how it allows her access to people. She used to use Lyft, which costs $25 both ways, totaling $50 a day. Getting the car would mean her family would spend less time on transportation, the kids can make their doctor's appointments, and gain better employment for herself and her older children. The first thing she wants to do is go for a ride and listen to music and clear her mind. Ms. Tillery possibly wants to get into IT to secure better job security. So now I'd like to introduce Ms. Tillery.
I would just like to say, I'm sorry, I'm a crier. I would just like to say I'm greatly appreciative of Vehicles for Change for helping me and my family. It has been very difficult to secure transportation to get back and forth to work. I work within the COVID unit, So I definitely have to be there, and I have to keep pushing to make sure we can help and provide resources to families that are struggling. And again, I just am truly grateful to have been connected with such a great program. I look forward to spreading the word of your company. And again, thank you.
All right, so what we're going to do is you two are going to go to your cars. I'm going to count to 3. You're going to start those engines. All right, just like they do in the Indianapolis 500, but just don't run over any of the people, all right? All right, ladies, get to your vehicles. All right, on a count of 3, we're going to start the engines. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right.
Our next model may be called old, but it only got better with time, just like fine wine. The 1955 Oldsmobile Super 88 CV is considered the second generation and was available in either a 3-speed manual or 4-speed high-dramatic automatic transmission. Man, that sounds special. Under the hood, you'll see a 5.3-liter engine branded the Oldsmobile Rocket V8. And both inside and out, this vehicle features beautiful chrome work that would stop anyone in their tracks. Woo doggy! Up next we have a 1955 Mack 42B Series. And as you can see, this vehicle was once in pretty rough shape. Being more than 60 years old, rust and the elements took a serious toll on its body that once featured a slope windshield and large round fenders. Kind of reminds me of myself. But with a little bit of elbow grease, it was fully restored from end to end. And man, it's beautiful. Here it is today, featuring a gorgeous red color, new tires, and much, much more. Well, let's head back to the 40s now. Here we have the newest vehicle in this owner's collection, the 1949 Ford Custom Deluxe Flathead Powered Convertible. This car is an example of the groundbreaking line of the 1949 Fords produced in 2 series. This Ford's flathead is believed to be the original to the car. Aftermarket flathead exhaust headers have been mated to a new custom dual exhaust system. The car still has its original 6-volt electricals, which have been upgraded with a new 8-volt battery and dual point distributor. The car's convertible top recently received new burgundy fabric with a diamond-shaped rear window, and the original seating material and interior panels were recovered. This exceptional restoration turns heads on every Sunday drive. Admire this 1949 Ford Custom Deluxe Flathead Powered Convertible.
How you guys doing? My name is Chris Wilson. I am an artist, author, and social entrepreneur based in Baltimore. And I am endorsing Vehicles for Change, which I've known about for about 7 to 8 years. And I think it's a really cool program that provides training opportunities, job opportunities, and also a way for people to get back and forth to work. And I just think it's a really cool program. And, you know, I know about having opportunities to study and learn and work. You know, I spent half of my life in prison. You know, my book, which is titled The Master Plan, is about how I decided once I went to prison as a juvenile, how I would turn my life around through education and through therapy. And so through the grace of God and the support of a lot of people, I was able to do that, to turn my life around. And when I came home, I had similar opportunities like Vehicles for Change to help me out, provide job opportunities for me, and I was able to turn my life around. And so I encourage everyone to support Vehicles for Change any way that you can, even if it's just you know, providing your time. It's a really good program, and I'm happy to be in support of it. So thank you.
Block D is brought to you by Nelson Coleman. In 1966, Hertz Rental Corporation commissioned just over 1,000 Shelby Mustangs from Shelby America to be used as rentals for Hertz's Sports Car Club, Approximately 700 of these cars sported Hertz's black and gold branding, while approximately 50 of each remaining car were red, white, blue, and green. This car has called its current garage home for 33 years, and its odometer shows 58,000 miles. It is powered by a 289 V8 motor delivering 306 horsepower. In car circles, this car is known as the Shelby GT350H Rent-A-Racer. This car is raven black with Hertz gold stripes. Like the 66 Shelby, you're gonna love this. This is the 50th anniversary edition of the 66 Hertz Shelby Rent-A-Racer. This is the 2016 Shelby GT350H. Produced for Hertz by Shelby America, just like in 1966, there were only 171 cars of this model manufactured. All of them sporting Hertz black and gold, and all but 6 of them had automatic transmissions. The 2016 Shelby was made for racing, with the Ford FR3 suspension package and performance exhaust. The Shelby also saw a tune-up, which increased horsepower over the stock of 440 by 30, bringing the total horsepower to 470. This car also has special Shelby additions, such as a side vent and a one-of-a-kind hood. Alright, we've waited long enough. Let's get into it. This is the Audi R8 Spyder. This year's Audi R8 combines all of the excitement of its legendary predecessors with the modern features that everyday drivers need. This two-seater uses a V10 engine that kicks out an incredible 602 horsepower, taking you from 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. Even with this explosive acceleration, the R8's ride and handling remains so comfortable that you're more likely to test the 7-speed transmission out on a weekend trip up the coast months before you even think about taking it to the track. The most notable difference when we're talking about the 2020 R8s are the dynamic styling. This year's model sports a sharp exterior that is guaranteed to turn heads. A supercar with an extra kick of style? That sounds marvelous. You know what else was marvelous? When the R8 made a special appearance as Tony Stark's personal vehicle in the Iron Man franchise.
Welcome back, and I hope you enjoyed the cars. I know I did. I want to thank all of the car owners who allowed us to come shoot their vehicles. Sometimes they're very particular about showing those off, and it was really helpful that they allowed us into their homes, into their garages to get to see these vehicles. We couldn't have done it without you. We couldn't do this without our VIP customers, so thank you guys for purchasing the VIP tickets. I sure hope you enjoyed your crab cake platter. I also want to again thank our major sponsors, Heritage MileOne and PNC, and of course all of our sponsors. And hopefully during the show you were able to put up your shots of you enjoying your crab cakes or enjoying the event. So there's a lot of ways that you can still help us by donating a car. We always need vehicles to help our local families. You can make a cash donation. We're going to have a cash drive going on between now and the end of the year. You can bring your car here to get it repaired, both here and at our Greenmount Garage down in Waverly. So we have 2 facilities where you can bring your car to get it repaired. And of course, last but not least, we still have some great auction items that we'd love you to go and make a bid on those. So lots of ways that you can get involved in our program. We hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Please stay safe out there, and we'll all get through this together, and we sure hope we made you smile.